Those we don't speak of have not breached our borders for many years.
Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ashley Sledge.
And I'm Ken Sledge.
And let's defend horror.
So today we are going to be defending a movie that has gotten a lot of criticism throughout the years. And joining us is a very good friend of the channel, amazing creator. We have DJ Remark. How you doing today, man?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
We're good.
Super excited to work with you again. So for those of you that don't know DJ, he does Bloodscribe Creations. I have all his social media links as well as his YouTube link in the description as well. But not only does he create short horror, he creates horror films. So for the people that don't know you, DJ, can you talk a little bit about what you do and what Bloodscribe Creations is?
Yeah, so Bloodscribe Creations is an independent film studio, and we focus more on genre films, so horror, sci-fi, fantasy, stuff like that. And we are currently producing our first feature-length film, The Hellgate.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Very excited about that. We were lucky enough to have a couple of the cast members on to talk to them about some stuff that they're doing. So can you give us a little update on what's going on with The Hellgate?
Yeah, so there's two things. We're still financing right now. So we're looking for private investors to invest in the film. And we've also been reaching out to different corporations and businesses for some sponsorship opportunities that we've been offering. I just shared on Facebook a t-shirt design that we just put out. So you get the Hellgate poster on the front and then your logo on the back. And, it says, you get your official sponsor, stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. And then I can't say who, but I am going to have a very influential person in the metal scene who is going to be making an appearance in the film. And I'm hammering out details right now. So that's why I can't say who it is, sure. But he's a very influential person. And maybe after we stop recording, I'll tell you guys who it is.
Okay.
Very excited,
yeah,
man.
That's awesome.
And the best way for you guys to figure this stuff out is to be following them on social media. Like I said, I got all the DJ's links as well as links for the film and Bloodscribe Creations all down in the description. So make sure that you're giving them a follow so you can stay up to date, not only on the Hellgate, but on the other things that they're going to be doing in the future.
So DJ, do you want to tell everyone what movie we are defending today?
Oh, we are going to be defending M. Night Shyamalan's The Village.
Yes. Which...
We've been a big fan of this movie for a long time.
Yeah.
The first time we saw this movie was together.
A long time ago.
In your mom's basement.
Yeah, I still lived at home when we watched this. Crazy, right?
Wow. 2004 is when it came out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells you a little bit about how long ago it was that we had seen this movie for the first time. And we watched it a couple times, but obviously to get ready for this, we sat down and had a deep dive into it, and we really had a good time. So before we talk about the film, as always, we're going to jump into some Rotten Tomato scores. This has a tomato meter of 43% and an audience score of 57%, which is a little higher than I thought it was going to be. So,
especially for the audience, usually I feel like they're kind of neck and neck, or the audience is
right
a little lower sometimes.
Yeah, I didn't think that the audience score would be higher than the tomato meter on this one. Yeah. So, obviously, this movie, we're defending it for a reason, because it gets criticized. Now, Ashley, do you want to give some of the major criticisms that we read on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, so some of them I read is because it's a, M. Night Shyamalan movie, we're expecting a twist, and they felt like the twist was pretty predictable and underwhelming. It shouldn't be necessarily classified as a horror film.
Total horror film.
Yeah, so when they reveal that the monsters aren't really real halfway through the movie, it kind of takes away any suspense that they're not in danger anymore. The plot is boring, slow pacing, and major plot holes, making it hard to look past.
And you can see now why we don't really we use Rotten Tomatoes on here because it's a universal thing. Mm-hmm. But Rotten Tomatoes has never been very kind to horror. So obviously, there's a lot of criticisms that come along with this film, but why is this the film that you chose to defend today, DJ? Why does this film mean so much to you?
So this film means so much to me because when I watched this, I was already an M. Night Shyamalan fan with The Sixth Sense, The Sixth Sense, Signs, and Unbreakable, right? Mm-hmm. Unbreakable.
Yep.
All three of those movies are just fantastic films, and I love the way that M. Night Shyamalan tells his stories. Mm-hmm. And it is the spectrum of horror that I gravitate towards is M. Night Shyamalan's why do I do this to myself? Mike Flanagan, And Guillermo del Toro, like that spectrum of horror filmmaking is what I gravitate towards. And M. Night Shyamalan is where it's more about story over, I guess, substance, you know, versus other movies like the Terrifier films, like, you know, Human Centipede, Hostel, those kind of films where it's all spectacle and no story, you know. So so I'm on the other side of the spectrum there. And so the reason why I liked it so much is because I thought it was another film that did the same thing. And I will agree with the critique on the reveal of the monster, which, by the way, did we say that this was going to be spoilers?
Oh,
I mean, obviously it has to be.
I'll put it all over the title too, that there are spoilers in it.
So I will concede that, but I don't think that this film is about the twist. And I think a lot of people they go into it expecting it because they got it from all those other films, you know? And so because they're expecting a Sixth Sense type twist, they're expecting an Unbreakable type twist, and they don't really get it. Even the last 10 minutes of The Village, when they reveal that, you know, they're actually in modern times, it's like, okay, well, you know, I guess that was kind of predictable, but that's not what this film is about. It's not about the twist. It's about something deeper, and it's about something more pure, I guess. And so that is what I love so much about this movie, and why I think people miss the mark so much about it when they give it the critique that they give.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That especially like the message that it's trying to portray. Like, I don't feel like people understood that quite. And
this movie had a double twist to it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you have the monster reveal, and then you have the reveal that they are actually living in modern times. But what I love about the monster reveal is, yes, we see that the monsters are real, but yet when she goes out, she's being chased by a monster.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, wait a minute. Now you're spun on your head. You're like, wait a minute. She is being chased by a monster. What's going on? And then we get the reveal, obviously, that it's Adrian Brody's character that's chasing her, you know, and that he doesn't quite understand, you know.
Yeah. Which I feel like he did such a good job, Adrian Brody. And
he was fantastic.
He did such a good job.
I mean, everybody, Bryce Dallas Howard, Joaquin Phoenix, like they were all, the acting is incredible in this film.
Well, and then you even got like Judy Greer, you know, in a small role in this film.
Yeah.
But when you see Adrian Brody dead at the bottom of that pit, you can't help but feel bad.
Right.
You know, because I don't think he quite understands.
He was supposed to be the pure, innocent one that was turned into the monster.
Right. So like you're talking about with Shyamalan, how he took that message and flipped it on its head, because we're expecting him to be the pure one, the innocent. And he's actually the one that's, you know, responsible for a lot of what happens throughout the film in a negative way.
Right. So do you have any... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I just want to respond to that. I think that the characters, so I think there's three themes in this film. It's faith, hope, and love. And I think that, you know, the characters and the situations that are in there are presented in one of those three ways. So I think the village elders represent hope by setting up the village, you know, in hope that they can conceive of a better society than what they left in the town. Ivy Walker, I'll go with Lucius Hunt. He represents hope and even love throughout the film. And then Ivy Walker represents all three. And I really like the choice to make her blind, because what is more pure than blind faith, blind hope, and blind love? Yeah. And they even say in the film that she sees the world. It's just differently. And you know, and when they bring colors into it, the way that she sees color, and everybody kind of has this aura. Noah, I think, represents fear. And the reason why, you know, he's innocent because, you know, his mental deficiency, but because he can't communicate as well, and he can't communicate, you know, his love for Ivy, which causes him to stab Lucius, which is his inability to be able to communicate that to her, and his fear of losing her. And it's his fear. It's at the end of the film when we see him dead in the pit, that he is both literally and metaphorically consumed and killed by fear.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that is, I think that's a beautiful portrayal of that. And even there's even scenes in this, and guys, please stop me because I can talk forever.
You're good.
But the way that Shyamalan directed this is he uses images like pits in the film very intently when Ivy is hanging on in the pit, because these are the crucibles that we have to fight through, that you know, there's the pit of fear is constantly pulling us down, and we have to fight to get out of it with the virtues of faith, hope, and love.
Yeah.
And so ultimately that's what makes this film so good for me, and why I will always defend it, is because it's not about the twist. It's not about the monster. It's not about that. It's about all of humanity's journey in faith, hope, and love, and the crucibles that we have to fight through to maintain that faithful, hopeful, and loving relationship with those around us. And I think the film does a beautiful job of telling that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Do you have any favorite moments from this film?
Oh, so many. So one of my most favorite moments that I love seeing, and this is where James Newton Howard really shines in the score, is the first monster attack, when everybody is trying to get in, and Ivy is standing there, and she has her hand out because she has faith and she has hope that Lucius is going to come for them, or for her, you know, both. And she's holding it out there, and you see in the background one of the creatures is starting to come towards her, and at that very last moment you see Lucius's hand grab hers and take her inside, and the violin that's playing during that whole scene just hammers that home. And that's one of my favorite moments in that movie.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Now I was going to ask you about, you know, what your favorite kill is in the film, but there's really only one true death in the film. Now, since we're not really talking about a favorite kill here, and we already talked about your favorite scene, was there a scene in the movie that really just like impacted you, that filled you with fear?
Oh yeah. So with the scene where the right before the monster attack is when the guy is in the tower and he's supposed to be watching, and you kind of see the trapdoor kind of bump a little bit, and he looks down and he doesn't really see anything, and then the monster just crosses underneath. And that got me, because you don't know what these things are, you know,
right?
And the fact it's got those like boar quills or whatever on the back of it that's poking out through its, you know, through its red cloak and all that. And so you don't know what's happening. And so that scene is definitely it definitely
starts ringing the bell to like warn everybody that they're coming.
Yeah, it puts you on edge.
Yeah, for
he
sure.
was his own little Paul Revere. The monsters are coming. The monsters are coming.
Right. So are there any quotes or one-liners from this film that stick out to you?
It's honestly not really. It's not a very quotable film, but there's a lot of good interactions between people when they're talking. And I think the argument that the elders are having when they're talking about letting Ivy go get, you know, medicine for Lucius, and it's what's his name? Elder Walker. I forget his first name. Edward Walker. Where he is trying to explain to them that the reason why they even started this village was because of the preservation of innocence, and that's what Ivy represents. And, you know, our hope to be able to, I forget what the actual speech is, but that is it really is. And I think that's really probably one of my favorite, I guess, lines is that whole speech that he had.
Yeah, that's a fantastic moment, because he's also saying at that point, like, a crime has been committed, and we are no better than we were out there if we do not try to fix the things that are happening here for the future. Because Ivy, because Lucius, they are the future of this community.
Right.
And if this village wishes to prosper, we have to do the right things, even when it's hard to do. Like, what an amazing, amazing moment in the film for him to come out and just be like, you know, this is what we have to do. I didn't consult you guys, and I made an error. I'm sorry, but we have to do this if we want to preserve innocence in this village.
I like the one between Lucius and Ivy where he's like, do you ever stop saying what you're thinking? You know, like obviously he loves her, and I love that whole dialogue between them two. It's very like,
and yes,
I will dance with you on our wedding night.
that's a great moment. Now we talked about a lot of the positives, obviously, because we are defending this film, but as we all know, there is no such thing as the perfect film. So if you had to give a criticism of the film, what would your criticism of The Village be?
Well, I mean, it would be the same criticism everybody gives it, is that the reveal of the monster was too soon. They shouldn't have done that. They should have revealed it. They should have had that whole sequence happen as she is progressing through the woods. Right. And they should have just keep cutting back to the explanation to her in the woods, the explanation to her seeing a creature in the woods, the explanation to her eventually being attacked. And it should have ended, the explanation of them being of the elders wearing costumes should have happened the first time we see Noah in the pit.
Yeah.
That's when they should have been like, and it's us. That would have been a way better reveal than when they did it. So that would
I can't argue that.
Thing.
Yeah, I mean, because it does kind of take away the suspense a little bit, like, you know, revealing it so early. But
so what would your criticism of the film be?
I think that too. Like, I agree with that one.
I got a couple different ones then.
Okay.
I hate the fact that I never find out what Lucius's color is.
Oh yeah, she always says she's never gonna tell him his color.
I'm not gonna tell you. It's not ladylike.
I think it's red.
I don't think it's red. I think it's blue, because blue is pure, and I think that's why she sees him so pure. And okay, I'm gonna be that guy. I hate the ending of this film.
She's like, I'm here, Lucius.
Yep, I'm here, and then it cuts. I need closure. Does
he live?
Right.
Do they get rid of the infection? Yeah.
And again, with a movie of this scope, of this magnitude, this would have been better off as a 10-part limited series, obviously. But to put that down into 2 hours, you know, they did the best they could with that. This could have been really expanded on. I'm not a fan of the ending. I would have liked to have seen some type of closure, or some type of, are the people from town coming now because they know that they're out there? Is that one guy going to really keep it a secret? You know?
I think he was. Like, I do like how she says, you know, I didn't expect you to be so kind.
Right.
You know, she expected these monsters to be.
And I like how Shyamalan obviously has another cameo in this film.
Yeah,
you know, as the park ranger.
And all of his films.
Yeah. And it makes you laugh. The minute we're watching, I heard his voice. I was like, there he is.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for him. I've been looking for him in the background in the village. But then I was like, oh, there he is.
You can see his face when the cadet or whatever opens the cooler. You can see his face in the reflection.
On the reflection
of the cooler.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's still, like I said, that's the worst part of the movie is, you know, I'm literally nitpicking right now. I didn't get to know what someone's color was, and I wish the ending would have been expanded on.
Right.
So it is a very good movie, and I had a lot of fun with it. So
would you say that this is your favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Oh,
no. Okay.
No, my favorite would have to be it might have to be Split.
Duh.
Yeah.
Love Split.
I mean, The Sixth Sense is great. Unbreakable is great. But what he did in Split, and the performances in Split, and the twist. Both
James
twists.
McAvoy is a monster in that movie. I mean, no pun intended.
I mean, he played 23 different characters.
Yeah, he was just stupid good in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible, and so I would probably say that's probably my favorite Shyamalan film. But Signs and Unbreakable probably are a close second.
I'll say this: the first time I saw Unbreakable, that blew my fucking mind. That movie blew my mind the first time I seen it. I literally had goosebumps at the end when he was like, "They called me Mr. Glass." Like, that gave me goosebumps the first time I saw this movie. I was like, Samuel Jackson, you dog. You know, like that. It's such an amazing movie, and there's so much power that comes along with that movie. The ability to try to save people if you have that. You know, he faked being hurt to be with his wife. Like, there's so much that goes into that movie. it blew me away the first time I seen it, and I still love it to this day.
Well, even in Split at the ending, you were like blown away. Where
we were in the movie theater,
like, we didn't know that,
and we didn't know. And
yeah, me neither.
He turned around and he was like, they called him Mr. Glass. And I was like, oh, like I'm freaking out, like talking to the guy next to me. I was like, it's unbreakable. He's like, who are you, weirdo? Like, I was like freaking out. I was like, there's no way this just happened. That is
the fact that M. Night Shyamalan is about to make his own superhero universe. Yeah. Give me that all day. And then he made Glass and ruined it.
I didn't hate Glass, but I just they should have. It was an injustice to the characters.
It was the worst way to take those characters. That was the worst thing you could have done with those characters.
Yes.
Bar none. There's no worse decision you could have made than that decision in Glass. Damn you, Shyamalan, for doing that.
Like I said, I didn't hate the movie, but at the end, I was so just like, there's a difference to me between being upset with the ending of a movie and just being like straight up angry with the ending of a movie. And that one made me angry because you can't go back and undo this.
Right.
You know? And I feel like all of them, you know, even the monster, all of them deserved a better ending than what they got at the end of this film. Mm-hmm. You know, a mud puddle, like that's what we're doing right now. Like a mud puddle. Like
we're just gonna retcon everything that we've already done.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Fuck off.
Not very happy. So what we're gonna do now is we are going to rank The Village 0 to 10 skulls. Now, unlike my first horror movie where we rank it, you know, on our personal beliefs and how it made us feel, we're going to be critics on here. So critically, what would you rank The Village 0 to 10 skulls? We'll start with you, DJ.
Well, I got to be honest, as much as I'm defending the film and everything that I do like about it, it's probably a good like 6.5.
Okay.
Out of 10 for me.
That's fair.
That's a fair, you know, like I said, a film doesn't have to be perfect for us to love it.
No.
You know, when we watched it, how it affected us when we watched it, these are all things that come into play on why we want to defend a movie and why we think it should be rewatched again. So he's going with a 6.5. What would you go with?
I'm gonna go with a flat 6.
Okay.
Like I said, it is a little bit of a slow burn, but I do enjoy the movie, and I mean it's a love story. It's got the fear factor. So yeah, I'm gonna go with a 6.
Me and the audience are right about the same, and that's why I laughed when I saw the score, because I was going to give it a 5.5. I like the film a lot, I really do, but like you said, it's a slow burn, and when I have a slow burn like this, I need a huge ending.
Yeah,
you know, to have the payoff. I thought the performances were great. The cinematography is fucking beautiful.
It really is
throughout the whole film, and the way they play with red, the way they play with yellows, you know, when they're burying the flowers, like there's so many different things throughout the film that are just so beautifully done, that the little moments that end up being huge, because we don't understand that at first. When they find the flower, that's the bad color, and they're burying it, we're like, what the hell are they talking about? You're burying a flower. Why? So there's all these different moments that end up paying off huge at the end, but not in the big way that you need with a slow burn. If it didn't have the score or even the performances that it did have by our leads, it probably would have fell even farther for me. But the performances are fantastic. They keep you intrigued. Even the elders, every elder, you know, Sigourney Weaver is fantastic in this film. And you even have the little love story between them. Like, he won't touch you because he loves you. I can see that, you know, and there's these, and then you start to know.
And he doesn't want to open himself. He's afraid because he doesn't want to open himself up to the loss that he experienced with, you know, the first time around.
Right.
These themes keep coming back around, and that's why I don't know. Maybe I'll go with a 7 or a 7.5. Maybe I'm going to give it another point, because those it really is, for me, theme and character and story really do outrank everything else when it comes to horror, and when it comes to just cinema, when it just comes to film. For me, that stuff just outranks everything else. So I'm going to rescore, and I'm going to say 7.5. I'm going to give it more point. I'm going to say 7.5 because I don't think there's enough. I honestly don't believe there's enough films, especially in the horror genre, that tap into these themes and these storylines as I believe should. And that's why I appreciate Flanagan and all these other filmmakers so much for doing that. That's why that's why I like Hereditary so much, you know, and all of these movies, The Others, you know, like
another good one.
Yeah, I think is, I mean, like, that can elevate a good movie to a great movie, is when you have stories like that. So, so I'm going to re-rank. 7.5 for the Village.
7.5. That's your final
Right.
answer.
That's
I'm
it.
going
That's
to
my
stick with
final.
5.5, like I said, and which is, I'm very critical of films. So a 5.5 for me is not the end of the world. I would not be bummed out about watching this movie. Another thing I really like about it is it's a period piece without being in the period. And you get a real explanation as to why. When you get that exposition dump of, I teach American history in the city and I have an idea that I want to run by you guys.
Yeah.
So there's a good reason why it's a period piece and why it's so true to that period, because that's what he does for a living is he teaches American history. So he's had these books, he's had this education to be able to do this type of stuff.
So, all right, we're going to do our final defense. You're going to tell someone, say you have 30 seconds to tell someone why they should watch this movie or why they should give this movie another chance. What are you going to say to them?
I'm going to tell them that it's a great story that has themes that explore fear, hope, and love. And that if anything, you should watch it for Roger Deakins cinematography, because you could learn a lot, either as a new filmmaker or as a veteran filmmaker or somebody who just appreciates cinematography. You should watch The Village. Because Roger Deakins puts on a masterclass of cinematography for the story that's being told. And there is a deeper meaning to everything that's happening in the movie. And so that's why you should watch it again.
Yeah. And I couldn't agree more. Like I said, we would never go into these blind. We always want to educate ourselves before we do these episodes. And on our rewatch, there was never a point where I was bummed out that I was watching this film again.
I mean, the rewatchability of this movie, even if you already know the twist, even if you already, the other twists that come along, it's still, the rewatchability is great.
Right.
Like it's still,
the twist does not make or break the movie.
It doesn't.
Like it does in other Shyamalan films. There are certain twists he has that make or break the whole film. This is not one of them. You can still enjoy the cinematography. You can still enjoy the score. Like this score is so good in this film. It blew me away. And just the acting in this film.
Well, Bryce Dallas Walker, like she is phenomenal.
You believe she's blind.
Believe that she's actually blind. Like she is so good. Yeah.
And so, again, I said it at the top, guys, but I do want to remind you, I have all of the media links for Bloodscribe Creations, for DJ himself, all down in the description. So make sure you're following along so you can keep up to date, not only on the Hellgate and some of the amazing cast that's going to be coming along with that, but some of the future projects that he's going to be working on. And you can check out some of his short films on the YouTube link, which I have down in the description below. So make sure you're subscribing to that and following him on social media. So, DJ, please don't go anywhere. We got a couple more questions for you. Everybody else, as always, keep talking horror.
Stay who you are.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.